Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we discuss one of the great chronographs of the late 20th and early 21st century, one of my favorite model lines ever from Patek Philippe, not just favorite chronographs, but this is big picture favorite, the 5070G-001. Now, the original 5070 came out at Basel in 1998 in yellow gold with a black dial, and it was considered shocking because as the long-delayed follow-up to the long-discontinued 1463, it was a huge watch at 42 millimeters, a dress watch that could go toe-to-toe with a Panerai or a Portugueser for sheer size. 42 in diameter, the white gold model didn't come out until 2002 and it was made through 2006. It is 11.8 millimeters thick and 48.3 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, the fact that this is a 42 but under 49 millimeters lug-to-lug really mitigates any fit issues. It doesn't wear like a 42. It wears more like a round 41 or a 40 because of the way the lugs are tapered and they're relatively short span across the wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and looking down the barrel, you can see I've got some clearance here. I would say you could probably get away with wearing this watch on a 15 centimeter circumference wrist. If your wrist is truly flat across the top, maybe even 14. Here's your over the top, and I'm pulling the strap pretty tight because it isn't broken in yet. Here's your cuff shot where you can see that, especially with that stacked pagoda-like bezel, it will slide easily underneath the dress cuff. A lovely watch. You can see it features a strap that includes medium rectangular scale alligator leather in black with a matte finish. We have a edge that is folded and narrow, monotone stitch, gator on the top, calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging, a brand new Patek Philippe factory strap. You can see it has pull tab spring bars that allow you to pop it off quite easily without resorting to tools. And then we have a matching white gold deploying clasp. And you can see this is not rhodium plated white gold right here. This is a much warmer tone than rhodium plated white gold. It has the logo of the manufacturer, the Calatrava cross on its buckle. And when you open it up inside, you can see it says Patek Philippe plus the city of origin. And it has a little spring-based friction fit snapshot system. Like most folding clasps, it is there to prevent you from dropping your watch by accident. Now, what's interesting here is that the watch, having been made from 2002 to 2006, does appear to have a rhodium-plated case. So you can see there's a clear difference in the warmth of the gray gold or 18-karat unplated white buckle, and then the blinding platinum-like tone of the watch itself, which I've got to say does give it the look of platinum. Now, one thing I'm going to call out here is that the things you always want to look for when you're shopping for a 5070 are the sharpness of the edge of the case and the bezel, and then the depth of the fluting on the lugs. Now, I would give this dial a 10 out of 10. And in terms of cleanliness and condition, I would give this movement a 10 out of 10. I will say, though, that there has been some refinishing here because particularly on the crown side, you can see there's a little bit of a dulling of that fluting. And for that reason, I give the case more of a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Good case lines, good bezel, but a little bit of wear and refinishing dulling of the lug profiles themselves. But beautifully made with those classic 5070 lines. You can see welded lug construction with the lug inserted into the case length and then welded on with all of the gathered material of the weld removed to create a sharp break between them. A laboriously handmade case back in its day. Now we have these pagoda-like steps to the case and the bezel, ending with a very narrow flange, and the reason for that is the same reason we have this panoply of concentric scales on the dial. It is to disguise the difference between the CH2770 movement inside and the 42 millimeter case on the outside. It is in a lot of ways a beautifully flawed watch, but the best watches always have some sort of beautiful flaw. A perfect watch is rarely as intriguing as an imperfect watch. And I would just say Cindy Crawford and the Mole is your schema for that. Now, one other thing that's important to note is this actually does look like a historic Patek Philippe watch. They have a 46 millimeter monster in the museum that I believe is a split-second chronograph. The 2512, there was a time-only version and a chronograph version, and the chronograph version lends almost all of its design to the 5070 series. So look that up on Google. You'll see exactly where I'm coming from. We have a scale-out board on this lovely silver satin dial that is for your chronograph seconds and fractions of seconds. Inboard of that, we have a tachymeter scale, which in vintage fashion is on the dial, not the bezel. You can use it for gauging, for example, the speed of a race car over a kilometer in conjunction with the chrono. That is the example I always give. Now, if you look really careful here, it's easy to miss, but there is a very distinct directional grain. It's not a sunburst. It runs from top to bottom, and this is something that's often lost in online images of this watch. We have dished and sunken sub-registers for chronograph minutes and then running seconds. And what I wanted to show you was how the variable inertia gyromax balance works. You can see how we have those masses on the rim that are eccentric weights, and they're turned in or out symmetrically. So always one and then its opposite number to change the polar moment or turning force to make fine adjustments. That is the premise behind gyromax, which is a free-sprung architecture Patek developed in the late 40s and implemented in the early 50s. It was one of the first free-sprung regulators. It allows more precise adjustment, better shock resistance because a shock can't move a mobile stud index regulator. And then here, we have an enormous balance that's almost the radius of the movement, because this is very much like a pocket watch caliber based on the Lemania 2310, an old-school chronograph based in early 40s designs between Lemania and Omega. So it's an older architecture with that huge slow-beating balance at 5 beats per second, and you can see a metal overcoil hairspring. So through the 6 positions of adjustment of this movement, the hairspring will breathe very concentrically due to its centered mass. That's what you get from the overcoil, so it'll keep very consistent time. Now, the reason I wanted to tell you all of this while we're still talking about the dial is I wanted you to see the balance before it jumps into motion so you can understand its architecture. Now we'll talk about the chronograph on the dial side. So we've got a chronograph that is slow beating, and being a big dial with a long hand, you could see how the seconds hand chugs along like a grand old pocket watch chrono. The hands at center, counterweighted lancet for seconds, chronoseconds, and then leaf or feuille hands for sub-registers and hours and minutes. They're all blackened white gold, as are the numerals on the dial. They are blackened white gold for dramatic contrast against the base. And you can see that the dial is correctly calibrated for a 1/5 of a second chronograph. And we have a very subtle concentric pattern inside each one of these sub-registers. You can also see that the minutes hand has not moved. The Lemania 2310 here as the CH2770 is a semi-instantaneous jumping minute. So just know that that's there and that the features of this dial are applied, not printed. You can also see that the chronograph seconds hand, because it is so long, it has been rolled on a miniature rolling pin so that optically it looks straight when you view it from the front. The same is true of the minute hand as well. Turn it all over. Now you can see this movement. Okay, so I gave away a lot of the game before. 24 jewels, 6 position adjusted, Geneva seal. These were all Geneva seal, these white gold 5070s. It's a nice looking movement. It has been extensively modified from the Lemania base. First, there's the overcoil, the 6 position adjustment, Geneva seal finish, the free sprung balance, all those things we talked about over here, but also the capping of the column wheel, a traditional Geneva style that has its roots in a functional requirement of preventing the levers and horns from jumping the crenellated towers under conditions of shock. Another big change is that the Lemania only has a 48-hour power reserve. This has 60, so Patek fitting a larger mainspring and getting that done. The finishing is outstanding. You can see Côte de Genève aligned across the bridges. There's also sort of satination and then beveling on the bridge for the escapement anchor underneath the balance. And we have mile-wide anglage, yes, on the brass parts, but also on the stainless steel parts of the chrono. Note that all of the jewel sinks, as well as the screw sinks, have been reamed and polished internally. All screw heads polished on their tops and then slotted, chamfered in their slots and chamfered around their circumference. The wheels all feature satination. The steel parts, which are chronograph components, like the clutch, the levers, horns, the recentering hammers, those are satinated on their top and beveled on their edges. So there's a lot to take in here, but it is just as beautifully finished as any dotograph, and that's important to note. Lateral clutch with a column wheel, so you could see the action of the lateral clutch, which is traditionally beautiful, and while archaic, it's important to note that lateral clutch chronographs require a higher level of internal certification at Patek Philippe. So the higher level artisans work on the lateral clutches. The more entry-level guys work on the, quote, more advanced vertical clutches. And you can see right there, there's one beautiful inner angle where two bevels meet. There are a lot of Geneva seal movements that don't have one of those. Patek actually gives you two on this movement, which I deeply appreciate. Lots to love and lots to see. All of it 30 meters water resistant. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this wonderfully archaic 42 millimeter column wheel chronograph.